23 News at 10.
Tuscaloosa native and well-known journalist and civil rights activist George Curry is laid to rest today. Good evening, I'm Jabari Pruitt. This morning, Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy. WVUA 23's Yostina Banu was at the funeral this morning. She joins us live. And Yostina, Curry touched so many lives.
George Edward Curry was known as a journalist and a civil rights activist. He was also a syndicated columnist who was published in Black-owned newspapers across the country. Friends and family say he never shied away from the truth.
He always sought to accomplish what was right.
And says the Tuscaloosa native always stood for what he believed in and never gave up.
He was always a strong, principled journalist. George Curry was an unapologetic black man and who utilized the power of the pen to speak truth to power.
He understood that the fight for human rights, for equal justice, for righting wrong was bigger than being a journalist. And so he utilized his ability, his platform, his podium as a journalist to right the wrongs that America saw.
Curry graduated from Druitt High School in 1965. His family says, despite living through segregation, Curry always called Tuscaloosa home.
George corrected us because he loved us.
Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy at Weeping Mary Baptist Church. He says Curry never let his friendship interfere with his work.
George Curry was a pioneering journalist. He fought for black media. He fought for us to be heard. He was someone that personally helped to guide the civil rights movement the last 40 years. I had to be here because he's one of the most important figures in American journalism.
Jimmy Lee Gray remembers his longtime friend.
What George means to me is a warrior, someone who remained true to the causes of civil rights, someone who was willing and able to speak the causes of black people in America. And he didn't do it with bitterness, he didn't do it with arrogance. He did it by presenting the facts.
And he was someone who was so very genuine in wanting you to succeed. And George was just one of those special souls.
Curry is also known for Emerge News magazine, which became digital April 2016. And Reverend Sharpton says he wants to make sure Curry's vision lives on.
I'm going to help his companion keep his news online alive. I'm going to put money in it, and I'm going to also contribute to it. His kind of journalism should never die.
Curry died of a heart attack at the age of 69. Reporting live, Yostina Banu, WVUA 23 News.
Yostina, thank you. Well, the remaining 3 victims of the massacre in South Alabama are buried today. 2 of the victims were buried yesterday. All 5 were found dead in a home in Central a week ago. And 27-year-old Derek Dearman of Mississippi is charged with the killings. And funerals were held for the victims of Wednesday's deadly earthquake in Italy. It was a national day of mourning for the victims. Political leaders gathered to share tears with the victims' family at a state funeral. The quake killed 290 people.
È come un aratro. Quando tu ari
The earthquake is like a plow. When the plow plows the land, it breaks the land. It fractures the land violently. But afterwards, a new spring and a new birth comes.
Now, thousands are now living in camps. In a story that keeps developing this morning, police make an arrest after 2 nuns were murdered in their Mississippi home. Reed Binion has more.
It's sad that people come to this, whatever motivates them.
46-year-old Rodney Earl Sanders is now facing 2 counts of capital murder in the stabbing deaths of 2 Mississippi nuns. Authorities say Margaret Held and Paula Merrill were found dead inside their home Thursday morning. Held and Merrill were both nurse practitioners who worked for a clinic in one of the state's poorest counties.
They take the time with the patients. They explain things to them where they can understand it. They go way beyond.
Clinic employees notified police when the nuns failed to show up for work. Authorities say when they arrived at the home, they found evidence of a break-in and later found their bodies. A car missing from the home was also found later that night about a mile away.
It's hard to imagine that one who served the poor untiringly, day and night sometimes, that her life would be taken in this violent way.
Those who knew the nuns say they had real empathy and compassion for the people they served.
Everybody was the same in their eyes. You know, all you had to do is go to them, ask them for help, and they help you any way that they can.
Authorities have not revealed a motive or a possible link between Sanders and the nuns. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
In other news tonight, new research could make it easier to detect cancer with the help of some furry friends. WVUA 23's Catherine Ashtel joins us live now with more. Catherine.
Well, Jabari, thanks to Lori Malone and her dog Penny, important research about dogs and detecting cancer could start soon in Birmingham. They gave me all the information on sniffing out cancer. Penny the dachshund had quite the rough upbringing.
Terrible conditions of living in a chicken coop for 4 years.
Even after her rescue from a puppy mill, Penny is terrified of the world. However, she always found joy in being a bit nosy.
This little pointy nose of hers loves to sniff.
Penny's mom, Lori Malone, is a researcher at UAB. Her love for science is why she began researching sniffing activities and training Penny's nose.
Watching the dogs and their scenting ability, I started reading into the science of what else dogs could do with their scent ability.
What she found was incredible.
Dogs are capable of, with over 90% accuracy, finding cancer in human samples.
Now, Lori has decided to visit California in October to become a certified trainer. When she returns to Birmingham, she will begin training different dogs to smell and detect cancer in humans.
It could take anywhere from 6 to 8 months, really, then to see the dogs that are able to be involved in the clinical trials.
Lori started the Sprout and Penny Canine Foundation, named after Penny and her brother, who also loves to sniff. Through the foundation, she is trying to raise money and support for her research. If the clinical trials go well, Malone could help introduce a new, less invasive way to detect early cancer, a cause she is very excited about.
The possibility of saving human lives using dogs is just blending my two passions.
If you'd like to keep up with Malone's research or help contribute, you can visit her foundation's website at spk9.org/projects. Reporting live, Catherine Ashtel, WVUA 23 News.
All right, Catherine, thank you. A very, very interesting story there. We're turning our attention now to the weather. Alex Puckett is here with the first look at that forecast. Alex, good evening.
Good evening, Jabari. Yeah, and you know what? The story for the past couple of days, been hot and humid, and that really isn't any different today, and it's not going to be different for the next couple of days. Satellite radar showed a couple of isolated showers in North Alabama, but here in Central and West Alabama, bone dry, and that's going to continue for the next few days. Live look at Tuscaloosa. Temperature hit 95 this afternoon for a high temperature, and it felt like 100 when you factored in the humidity. And for the rest of your evening, temperature dropping down into the mid-70s overnight, warm and muggy. But coming up in just a few minutes, I'll let you know about the activity in the tropics. Jabari?
All right, Alex, thank you. Well, Tuscaloosa is reaching out to Louisiana flood victims. Read Bama Read sponsored a drive at Winn-Dixie and Northport to help them. They collected dog food, cat litter, toasters, and coffee makers. Residents say they are only returning the favor.
Going through the house and finding things that we knew that they could use because, you know, we've been there, a lot of people in Tuscaloosa. 5 years ago or so with the tornado, we can relate that as well. And
now, if you would like to donate, you have until next Wednesday. Well, the third annual Putting the Pub in Public Radio fundraiser was held today. WVUA 23's Emily Mosner has the story.
On this hot Saturday afternoon, many community members cooled off with some cold beer at Druid City Brewing Company. It was all part of the third annual Putting the Pub in Public Radio fundraiser.
We're having great music, good barbecue, and of course, Druid City beer.
As you can see behind me, lots of people came out here today to support Alabama Public Radio. For every beer sold, $1 goes towards them. Besides the beer, those in attendance took home a t-shirt and pint glass and could also participate in a raffle. The event brought in many members from the community.
I'm actually new to town. I'm a part of the community journalism program at the University of Alabama, and they work a lot with Alabama Public Radio, so I thought it would be a good way to get to know the town and, support media.
Alabama Public Radio relies on the support and donations from the community, so they were thrilled to see a great turnout today. Reporting in Tuscaloosa, I'm Emily Mosner, WVUA 23 News.
Well, still to come on the news at 10, Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton had her first briefing with FBI about concerns around the world. And Donald Trump is reaching out to Black and Hispanic voters. Stick around. We're coming right back.